give you some more info. How about that?
Yay.
So I've intentionally not talked a lot about color until now because I want you to focus first and foremost on contrast and values. The scale I have here. So when I teach this scale in depth more, I use 9 values instead of 3. And in fact, it was John Solomon that taught me this. And I just really grabbed onto it. And my light values are divided into 3, my middle's in 3, and the darks are in 3. So now I've got another language to talk to students about. I can use numbers or I can use letters or words. So for the light values, I can have a light light, which is the white paper, a middle light or a dark light, LL, ML, DL, 1, 2, or 3. So I can say this is a 3, this is a 2, and there's a 1. It's the white paper. But they're all light values. And of course, light, middle, and dark middles. So light, middle, 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 dark, middle, 4, 5, 6. Light, dark, middle, dark, 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 7, 8, 9. And so 9 is black, 1 is white. And that does it. You'll see a lot of value scales that are in 10. 1 through 10. Or 0 through 10. 0 is white, 10 is black, and then 1 through 9 is in between. I think that's more confusing. When he presented this, I thought to myself, that is the way to go, because it's easy, really easy. Now, this isn't working so well here. I'm gonna have to just set this down and take a second so I don't destroy this. Oh, thanks, Sandy. There we go. And these little strips, if you're sizing down paper, save them for testing your brush. They work really well. Okay, so we've got the values. Most important, I think, composition. If your composition's no good, the painting can look really great as far as painting technique, but it just isn't going to be worth a whole lot. Color, I've talked about warm and cool colors, so we can look at the palette here and this color wheel. I'll take this down. So our warm colors, let's see, I've got cool from here to there and warm from here to there approximately. So on the palette, these are my warm colors. Here are earth tones and the yellows. And then we go through the reds and it starts switching over about here into the cool colors, the blues, the violets, the blues, and the greens. And so cerulean blue sits somewhere in here. Cobalt blue is right there. French ultramarine would be in here, and so forth. You start adding red to that, and you start moving over here. Now, every color has a place on the color wheel. It's just that they're not all on the outside of the color wheel. So, raw sienna, for instance, that color, it's not on the outside edge, but it sits maybe like in here, about in here somewhere.
That's lighter as you go in.
Well, it's more gray as you go in. It's gray. So the very center of the color wheel is gray. And what that is an equal mixture of yellow, red, and blue. You'll get gray as you move together. But if you just move in a little bit, you start getting all these other colors that are not the pure yellow, red, and blue. Okay? That's not entirely true because it could be on the outside. It's really vibrant when you're on the outside of the color wheel, but as you move in, they get softened. Yellow ochre is a step in farther than raw sienna. It's a little more dull and gray than raw sienna. What's another one? Prussian blue. I don't have it out here. I used to have it. Prussian blue is in here a little ways. These earth tones, they're moving way in here somewhere. Quinacridone gold. See how it looks there? I bet we're sitting somewhere in here. But look at a burnt sienna. You don't have to buy burnt sienna or any earth tone. You can mix all of those if you know what to mix.
I was going to say, you can mix it.
Oh, you can too. So, all these colors are just combinations of red, yellow, and blue. So, I'm going to take a little bit of this. Raw sienna. we don't even need the raw sienna. If we just go with, see if that cad yellow will work for us here. And a touch of blue, cobalt blue. We get real close.
To Russian.
Yeah.
Good.
So burnt sienna. I mean, if I play around with it, we're going to be real close to it. See, you
Is there a
can.
book I
you
could
could
buy
make
that would
these.
tell me that besides
Oh,
calling you
I
every
don't
time?
have it off the top of my head. There's one of the best color guys out there, known for color theory, is Stephen Quiller.
Where's the
Stephen
name?
Quiller, Color Theory is the name of his book.
Okay.
He's got 2 books out on color, so I'd recommend that.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and then complementary colors are across the color wheel from each other. I mean, straight across is going to create a pure gray if you mix the two. Then you'll know you've got the exact complement. But nonetheless, when I talk complement, I'm just talking approximately across because it gives you that vibrancy when you put a blue and an orange together, for instance, or a red and a green. But the harmonies sit next to each other. So like the Minnesota Vikings, that's complementary, purple and yellow. But the Green Bay Packers are harmonious or analogous, yellow and green.
These are guy analogies.
Yeah, I know, that's not working here, is it? And honestly, I don't really care about those analogies, so. And then there's tertiary colors, so secondary is in between, orange, violet, and green. Tertiary, anything in between that, but there's actually an infinite number of colors that can be mixed. But I think a powerful painting lives in the grays, and then just a little bit of it comes out to the outside of the color wheel. Like that flower painting we were looking at. See, the whole thing is more or less in the color wheel a little bit. And then there was that one little spot with yellow and orange.
You're talking about this and this.
Mm-hmm. All of that. This is toward the outside of the color wheel.
Yeah.
Now we're moving in. It gets more
Yeah.
dull. See how gray. That's important.
And my horrible
Yeah.
painting.
Then, to
I didn't look at
The-
the pictures.
I personally love green as a color, but it is the most despised color by artists ever. You hear artists talk nonstop, and there are books written on it, how to paint greens and all that. But you know, I think it's because I grew up looking at everything green around here, and so did you, and you paint that. But the way to practice greens is to just start with one of your blues. Let's start with French ultramarine. And one of your yellows. Start with the brightest yellow. And mix them on the palette. And see what you get, you know, in different amounts. Add more blue. Get a little darker. You know, and you can just go through these exercises to no end. And I have. And then once they dry, I label them. Cad yellow, French ultramarine. And then I've got these little references, which I will show you a couple of them. I brought along just for this purpose to show you. You just get to do stacks of these things. So when I'm painting a sunset, I lay these out and I start looking at these going, what color do I want and how dark do I want it? You know, I've done this is glazing, color over color, but tons and tons of these things.